Well, first of all, can you tell us a little bit about the overall food insecurity in Pakistan?
It's a big subject. It's a big subject. Um, what I can say about the food insecurity in Pakistan, I would say that what we can see is that all the indicators that we have and all the data that we have are showing clearly a very, I would say, a very, if I say alarming, I don't know if it is the right word, but at least a very preoccupying situation regarding the food security, regarding the malnutrition. And we can see that from whatever we have available as data, that the trend is deteriorating.
Sure.
There has been a national nutritional survey in 2011, and in this survey, it shows that 58% of the households in Pakistan are food insecure. And when I say are food insecure, meaning that basically the people, I don't say the people are hungry, but I say that these people, this 58%, which is quite a lot of million of people looking at the total population of Pakistan, meaning that these people don't have access to a nutritious food. In the same survey carried out in 2011, it has been found that the global, what we call the global acute malnutrition is 51%, even a little bit more than that. And 15.1% is quite an alarming figure in the sense that the threshold, as defined internationally by WHO, shows that when you are over 15% or when you are reaching a global acute malnutrition rate among the population of 15%, it means that we are in a state of emergency. And this figure of 15% has been the result, the global result of all the provinces in Pakistan which have been surveyed in 2011. And we can assume, even if we don't have a very precise figure today, in terms at least of malnutrition, we can assume that over the last 2 years, with some floods, repetitive floods, especially which have affected provinces in southern Punjab, in Sindh, in Balochistan, in particular, in 2011 and 2012, we can assume that the rate of malnutrition is simply increased, at least among the population which has been affected by the floods.
So if I can interrupt you, I'm sorry. You said 15.1% malnutrition rate in Pakistan. That means the 15% of its population is under malnutrition.
We can say something like that. Yeah, we can say something like that. And this is this 15% is a rate among the children. And,
so 15% of the children are not getting proper nutrition.
Absolutely, yeah. If we are talking about this 58%, as mentioned in this report, it means that more than half of the population of Pakistan doesn't have access to a daily nutritious food, bringing the necessary calories for sustaining a normal, active life for any human being.
All right, it's quite a big number. And I want to come back to kids now. How much, I mean, what's the number of kids that are affected with this food and what are its impacts?
There are two main consequences regarding malnutrition among the children. The first one is what we call the chronic malnutrition. And again, without into very technical details, or the stunting malnutrition, it means that these children, especially when they are very young, between 6 months and 2 to 3 years old, if they don't have access to a nutritious food, meaning that a food which contains the necessary vitamins, micronutrients, etc., then all the studies are demonstrating that during these these 2 first years of life, if these kids don't have this sufficient calories and vitamins and micronutrients, then they are not developing normally in terms of weight, in terms of height. But the worst is that the development of their brain is also very much affected, and that there are some, there are a very, I would say, clear picture which is showing a scan of a brain for a normal child who have received normal food, etc., which has a normal development. And if you compare to a child which has suffered during the 2 or 3 first years of his life this malnutrition, chronic malnutrition, the development of the brain can be 40% less than the development of a brain within a normal child. So you can look also at that in economic terms, which means that, and this situation is irreversible, which means that after 3 years old, you can feed this kid with whatever you want, with the most nutritious food in the world. His brain will never recover from the 2-3 first years. And then, meaning that in terms of mental, intellectual development, this kid will never get it. So if you look at that in economic terms, this is a big loss for the country, having such a number of children affected by this stunting malnutrition.
It's quite hard for me to understand when, and it's mentioned in your report, and a lot of people mention it, that Pakistan has a sufficient food production. It says it produces enough grain or wheat to feed its 180 million population, but still 58% of people don't get that. Why?
I can quote. I think there is a journalist who have written an article this weekend. For the record, he said that Pakistan is the 5th largest producer of wheat in the world.
Yes, that's what surprises me. So why malnutrition in Pakistan, or 58% food insecure?
The price of the wheat available on the market has doubled over the last couple of years, and just in 2012. The price of wheat available on the market has increased by 12% according to the market survey that we are doing on a regular basis. And again, the system, the social system in Pakistan is made or is in such a way that despite this food available on the market, the people don't have simply the resources to have access to this food.
You mean it's very expensive? People can't afford to buy that food?
Sorry?
You mean it's very expensive and they can't afford to buy that food?
Absolutely, yeah. So this is the main reason is not again that Pakistan doesn't have food. Pakistan is producing food. The main reason is that there is a social and political system whereby the level of poverty is so high for a large part of the population that they cannot afford even the basic, sufficient basic nutritious food.
What are the risks of such a huge food insecurity in Pakistan?
The risk is that I think that, of course, the risk is that, as I mentioned, to have a part of the population, especially among the young children who are suffering from stunting malnutrition, that these children will never recover and will have an economic impact.
With things going and moving the direction that they are, and I'd hate to say this, but they're not going to change maybe so dramatically, and we all know that the political situation and the security situation that's been going on. What do you see in near future?
It's difficult for me to make to predict
I
what
mean,
will be.
with the developments and with the efforts going at the pace that they're going today, where do you see the whole situation going? Is it going to improve, worse? And if it's going to get worse, how worse?
I think that there are a certain number of policymakers today in Pakistan who slowly are, I guess, taking the magnitude of this problem. And for example, the government has created last year a Ministry of Food Security, a National Food Security and Research, which have started to work on what is called the Zero Hunger Program. But again, I think that it has been a slow start. We are trying to support this ministry with other organizations. But again, I think that this is a slow start, and but this is a slow start, but a start in the right direction.
All right, Jane Siblet, thank you very much for talking to me. I know you've mentioned all these solutions that are economic and land reforms, and everything comes down to politics, and you know what politics looks like in Pakistan. So I hate to say that, but that's the reality.
Yeah, this is unfortunately the reality in many countries, and again, we are here to support the government as much as we can. But as you know, Pakistan is, as I say, is a blessed country with a lot of resources, natural resources, agricultural resources, and I really hope and that at some point the Pakistani people will have at least the one we are helping in this difficult time. This is really difficult for many people in Pakistan, looking at the natural disasters and looking at the problem of insecurity. And I really hope and wish that Pakistan will soon see better days.